Hello, welcome to Theory Lesson 3. This lesson is going to introduce you to the concept of accidentals, which was actually briefly introduced in Piano Lesson 3. Okay, just before we even start on this, I just want to introduce you to something we're going to get into more detail later, and that's the concept of tones and semitones, okay? Alright? This is a tone. A tone is actually two semitones, okay? Alright? One semitone up would be just one note on the piano up. And a whole tone would be two semitones. So this gets a little confusing, but it's going to be very important for accidentals. Okay? So the first accidental I want to introduce you to is the sharp, which is this thing. Kind of looks like a tic-tac-toe board, or you've seen it in Twitter, all right? And it goes right in front of a note. It doesn't really matter which note that is. It could be a D in the treble clef, an F in the bass clef. I didn't give you a clef. It just goes in front of it, all right? And what a sharp is, it just raises the note a semitone. So if this is C, this is now C sharp, all right? If this was F, this is F sharp. Now this gets a little confusing. I said it's raised a semitone. What if it was B? Where's B sharp? Is it here? No, it's not got to do the black note. It's one semitone up. So it would be here. And you're going to be saying to yourself, well, isn't that the note C? You're completely right. But C is also known as B sharp. You're going to see that things have different names in this business. Okay, next, the flat. This is a flat. It kind of looks like a sort of a thing with a teardrop on it. I don't know, half a heart on it, all right? And it goes in front of the note 2. The flat is absolutely the opposite. This is a D right here. So you go down one semitone, a D flat, okay? All right? Just likewise, if I was on a G, you're going to go down one semitone to a G flat. Again, it has no real thing to do with black notes or white notes. Here's an F. This is F flat, which is also E. Now here's something that's even more confusing. Here's C and C sharp. But here's D and D flat. Are they the same note? Yes, so you're absolutely the same note. They both have the same name. And that happens a lot in music. It can be very confusing, but this will be a little more clear when we get into time signatures and keys. Okay? So I will clear that out. The last accidental you need to see is this thing, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it's called a natural. All right? And it also goes in front of a note. So for example, if, say, for example, you had an F sharp and you wrote that you wanted to put an F natural, it would mean not this note, it would mean you're going to the F natural. Okay, naturals are usually on white notes, but not all the time. This, again, will have to do with keys, all right? So I don't want to get too confusing. We're not going to get into complex keys. But, all right, first of all, I want to show you a key signature. Now, this is going to drive you crazy. This thing. Now, what is that? Okay? This is actually the key signature for the key of C sharp major. You're not going to get more sharps than this. But I want you to be introduced to the fact at the start of a piece, the sharps are written. Okay, this is every sharp. This is 7 sharps. We'll get into it. Don't even worry about it. I just wanted to show you how complicated it can look. All right? All we're dealing with right now is we want to look at F. But when this is at the front of the line, right after the clef mark, it means that these things are to be played sharp right through the piece. Okay? You don't write the sharp in front of it every time you want a sharp. It is right through the piece. Well, anyway, to make it easier, forget about C sharp major. We're going to go into the G major scale that we were listening to at when we were doing lesson number 3. All right? Okay, now what I want you to see is, this is supposed to be a sharp. It's kind of blurry, but it's right after the clef at the start of the piece. This is an F sharp. This is an F sharp. It's not put down here. Okay? This is the second F up, all right? And that's just the way the musicians have been writing it. Okay? You know, and this could be down here, but this is just standard terminology. You'll get used to it. But what it means here is when you get to this F, you don't have to write the sharp in front of it. It is known to be F sharp because it's telling you at the start of the piece that this is F sharps. So, if I was to play this thing, okay, it would be G. Is it this? No, it's not. It's already told you at the start of the piece. Oops, sorry. F sharp. Just because it's notated that way right from the start. Then the left hand, the same thing. And there's that F sharp sitting there because it is in the clef. Okay, little confusing still. We're going to stay with G major because it's only got one sharp. Yes, birds. But what I want to mention though is this is going to be a little bit crazy here. All right. This is a little nutty, okay? Same thing. But what we have here, this is very simple. This is going to be G or D, G. And this, what's it going to be? It's going to be F sharp because that was in the key signature. So that would go. Fine. Now this is not musical at all, but I wanted to show you where the natural comes. I've got an F there, F sharp because of the key signature. And then I wrote a natural. Okay, but the next one, because I changed it to a natural, is still a natural. And then if I want it back to sharp, I have to write the sharp again. Okay? But only these things apply within each bar, all right? I don't have to sharp this or natural it. It's already back to what the key signature is as an F sharp. I know that sounds a bit confusing. It always will be a bit confusing. Now this lower one here, okay, this is in the left hand. That's going to be an F sharp because it was set in the key signature. But I can sharpen any note. I'm going to sharpen that C. And that's still an F sharp. Okay, this will be more straightforward as you get to know it. But just remember, if I put another C on A, for example, in this bar, it would be a C natural because that C sharp doesn't go over that bar line. Hopefully that's making sense. But we're just going to stick to this very simple thing. But one thing I do want to show you, all right, and this is a bit strange here. This thing, it's a lesson all of itself. This is what's known as the circle of fifths, okay? Now, all right, what a fifth is actually. Okay, let me show you. We're going to have a whole lesson. The next theory lesson's all going to be about intervals, all right? But these are five notes apart. C, D, E, F, G, and then G, D, E, G, A, B, C, D. Okay, I'm going to get you, this will be a whole lesson itself, but each one goes up by a certain amount of sharps, all right? So I'm going to include this circle of fifths. It'll be in the description in case it's a free download. You can look at it. But what I want to do is every key, all the way up to that crazy C sharp major I showed you about, can be understood slowly with this crazy thing. It looks almost like a clock face, and like a clock face, it's got 12 digits, right? But it goes up by fifths, and then it goes down by fourths, actually, when you're going through the flats. But that's a lesson in itself, all right? But all I want you to know from now on this lesson is the basic things here, all right? Okay, just the basics. All right, a sharp will go up. A semitone, not a whole tone, this is a tone, just a semitone. And a flat will go down, a semitone, and a natural, if I put an F natural, it would just be an F. All right, I know, confusing, as always, but that's lesson theory, lesson number 3. Thank you very much.